Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is facing new calls now to remove himself from cases tied to former President Donald Trump and the January 6th assault on the Capitol.
The New York Times reports a second flag used by January 6 protesters was seen flying at Alito's vacation home. This time it was a white and green Appeal to Heaven flag.
Now, earlier this month, the New York Times first reported an inverted flag, an inverted U.S. flag at his home outside Washington. Alito claims his wife flew that as a part of a dispute with a neighbor.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is on Capitol Hill. Scott, let's start off with just the significance of this second flag. On face, an appeal to heaven is, I think, a message that a lot of people would find virtuous. So why is this in particular so controversial?
And there have been some legislators who've had that appeal to heaven flag right outside of their offices, and that includes the U.S. House Speaker, Mike Johnson. This flag does have a history that dates back to George Washington. It's not a new thing, but its definition and its meaning may have changed on January 6, 2021, when we saw that white flag with that green emblem right there on the front lines of an attacking group of rioters, an attacking group of Trump supporters. And what some of the Democrats in the Senate are saying today is no matter the history of that flag, it now has some connotation that supports the violent attack against the U.S. Capitol. It has some connective tissue to January 6th, which they say makes it wholly inappropriate for a Supreme Court justice to have any connection to his or herself. Senate Democrats say there need to be questions asked to Sam Alito about this, but Sam Alito so far has not responded to requests for comment from us. And one Senate Democrat told me they're not sure they can issue a subpoena for Sam Alito because you need at least 9 Republicans to sign on, and Republicans are not going to get on board.
And what's interesting is, I'm wondering how Alito has responded to this. I mean, he doesn't have to respond at all, technically speaking, but that second report of a January 6th flag being flown at his property is happening.
The second property, the two flags, yeah.
Right, yes, it's happening at a time of tanking trust in the Supreme Court. There is a diminishment of faith in these institutions across the country. So what is he saying, if anything, of note?
Yeah, he has not responded at all publicly about this second report, about this appeal to heaven flag. There are a couple things worth noting. Sitting before Justice Alito and 8 other Supreme Court justices are 2 cases with connections to January 6th. One of them about whether to throw out one of the most common January 6th criminal charges, obstruction. And then there's former President Trump's argument that he is immune under presidential immunity from his own case with tethers to the 2020 election subversion. Senate Democrats are going to try to emphasize something as this day goes on, though, Errol. They're going to say it's just not right for some part of American government, some person in power to not answer any questions to anyone about anything. The complete lack of transparency or accountability, they'll argue, is something that must change, whether it be Sam Alito, the flag, or otherwise. They don't like the privilege the Supreme Court justices seem to enjoy.
Yeah, very interesting. Also, the difference between lawmakers and justices who are supposed to be separate being political, and interesting, too, that this flag got its start because of a Christian conservative belief that gay marriages should not be legalized. All right, Scott MacFarlane, thank you.